Hey guys, Tony here. It's been a while since our last video. Been a little crazy busy trying to get some things done. But however, today I got to come over here and probably a good idea to start up Buster. I haven't started Buster in like 3.5, 4 months, and we've had some pretty nasty cold temperatures. So this might be something that's going to work out today, or it might not be. So I guess we'll have to see. Do that, but today I guess we'll do a little video about the pros and cons, the upsides and downsides versus Buster here, the little converted shuttle bus, versus having an actual Class A motorhome. So yeah, we'll go through that today. Well, let's see what happens here. Let's ooh, we got ding ding, we got a ding, we got a ding. So try these glow plugs heat up because it's like 29 degrees out here right now. And like I said, it hasn't been started for 3.5, 4 months, somewhere along there. Yeah. Aha! He lives! Alright, awesome. Cool. Good to know he's going to start up and run. Sweet. So yeah, that's one of the things I wanted to do today. As you can see, I haven't found the window yet either, which really sucks. Need to really go do that. But, you know, I don't know. It's pretty windy today too, so if there's a lot of wind noise, sorry about that, guys. Let me step inside here. Or we might be able to at least get out of the wind. Oh, how well the light's going to be in here, but try to do that. And oh yeah, that's better, getting in and out of the wind. So let's concentrate on that. Yeah. And see, look, I'm out of practice here. I can't even hold the camera so you guys can see what I'm doing. Today what I really want to talk about was some of the pluses and negatives to having Buster versus the motorhome. The big plus for having Buster is it was a turbo diesel, and we got 16-17 miles a gallon, 60-gallon tank on here, and roughly anywhere, depending on how much I kept my foot out of it, anywhere from 11 to 1,300 miles out of a tank of fuel in here. So sometimes a little better than 17 miles a gallon. So that was a good thing. You know, if we were doing a lot of mountain driving, of course, you know, fuel mileage went down a little bit. But for the most part, you know, we're pretty much on the better end of the fuel economy, of course, being the diesel. The other thing good about the bus is it's 21 feet, somewhere along there. But you know, very agile. We can pretty much go anywhere we want it to go in old Buster here, and we've taken Buster into some spots, let me tell you. I mean, we've went past people through the woods, and you should see their face when they see old Buster come popping through the woods. Like, really, you brought that big old bus down here? You bet your butt I brought that big bus down here. So yeah, old Buster here, he's been a trooper, and we've taken old Buster here about anywhere. I mean, so that was the good point of having Buster. He wasn't very big, very agile, that we can take him to places like that. And, you know, good boondocking vehicle in the aspect that it's smaller. You can find, you know, more places to park because of its size, but you damn sure wasn't going to blend in with anybody. It sticks out like a sore thumb. But, you know, and the other aspect is of having Buster, you know, and the benefit of having him is we built Buster. We built everything here, so we know how all the inner workings was. We know how every single thing was put together. We knew that it was done and done right. And you know, and if a problem did arise over the, you know, when we were out there living full time in old Buster here, you know, we could know exactly where to look. We knew exactly where everything was located. We didn't have to go on a seek and search mission every time to find out what's going on. If said thing wasn't working, well, okay, well, it's right there, so that's where we got to look. Yeah. So with the motorhome, the Class A, you know, that's still trial and error, and that's back to the whole thing is, you know, learning the good and the bads and your problems that you're going to arise. And, you know, like I said, biggest part of the problems in here, those have been addressed, and I've already went through all this stuff with Buster. So that's definitely would have been the pro of keeping Buster and being full-timing at Buster. The downside to having Buster is the fact that diesel parts are very expensive. So we got that aspect right there. The other thing was it was probably going to be cramped quarters in here between us two being in here and our dog, which is a German Shepherd mix, and it does make it a little crowded. And I think with everything that we would have been bringing, our personal belongings, and making this our full-time residence, it might have been a little more cramped. Now, granted, it'd have been more style and just more outside the boxness, keeping Buster and doing that with him. But honestly, after the break-in, for those who are just tuning into our channel here, originally we started to set off to do this in this bus, and some unfortunate lowlife decided to break in old Buster here and completely ransacking, destroying, break a bunch of stuff, steal a bunch of our gear. So there's what led us to buy the Class A motorhome. So I got mixed feelings about the motorhome versus Buster here. I think Buster is just one of those things you kind of get attached to. We've had Buster for a very long time. Buster has served our family very well, and contemplating selling Buster off right now. It's kind of a bittersweet moment. I would like to just go ahead and keep Buster. I think I'm getting off topic here. What I really want to do with Buster, though, let me get this out before I forget about it, is I wanted to go ahead and do the four-wheel drive conversion on Buster here, because it does have the 7.3 turbo diesel in it. And man, I tell you right now, this thing would have just been completely awesome off-road. Going to do the whole roof rack up there, fog lights, the big massive, monstrosity of a bumper, big winch on it. Yes, though we could have actually went any and everywhere we could have got. Oh man, that'd have been awesome. That was the one good thing I was looking forward to going with Buster versus the motorhome. So yeah, the motorhome we got to be a little bit more gentle. It's not put together as well. But it has to be said for a lot of things anymore in life. Nothing's put together very well. So yeah, that was the pluses of having Buster. The fact that we could do all those kind of things with Buster, and the negatives, like I said, having the negatives here. Back to the negatives. See, look, I can't even keep my thoughts straight here today. It's so cold outside. But the negative, like I said, is being the smaller quarters, and people breaking in here and just tore everything up. It just kind of made us think, I guess it was sickening it to the point that we didn't want to just have to basically start over and rebuild Buster, and so we'd have liked it to go ahead and get something a little newer. Well, not really a little newer, because technically Buster's newer than our motorhome. Buster's a 2004, our motorhome's a 96. Anyhow, we wanted to get something that had a few more creature comforts and a little bit more room in it, where it wasn't going to be so cramped with us being out there. Now, who knows, once we get out there on the road, we might actually downsize back into something the size of Buster. So that's where I'm back to that whole thing about being conflicted about getting rid of Buster so soon, and contemplating getting rid of Buster. Is if we downsize, we already own Buster. Should we just keep him here and keep him on a side note, and keep him in storage here, and just keep randomly coming through and checking on him and all that good fun stuff? Or I don't know. So, like I said, once we get out there, we might decide we want to live smaller. Who knows? So I guess it'd be great to still own Buster, to where we could always just transition back into Buster. That's my thought. But I'm the man, so it doesn't really matter what my opinions are. Come on, guys, let's face it. If Mama ain't happy, we ain't happy. So, anyhow. So back to the pros and negatives, the pluses and negatives. That we're going to go over to the motorhome. Yeah, see, I'm getting sidetracked today. God almighty help me, this video's horrible. I'm rambling here. So the pluses of the motorhome is it does have more room, has more, creature comforts, more amenities, and all that good stuff. And, that might be too much. I don't know what's going to be once we actually, been in it for any length of time. Hell, it might not be big enough. It's only 35 feet. But that's the Taj Mahal compared to being a Buster, who is 20, 21 feet, jumping into 35 feet. That is a lot of room. So, and you know, you're definitely going to have to look for a lot wider parking spaces for the motorhome versus Buster. So yeah, you know, they both got their plus and thing. I guess it really just comes down to people's personal opinion and their personal likes and dislikes of a vehicle. But you know, I've had several people ask, you know, about what kind of vehicles, you know, and they're talking about how expensive motorhomes are. You know, you guys can go out and pick up things like Buster and, you know, and make a decent camper or a decent living quarters out of it. It really just depends on how much you want to spend, how much work, or how much blood, sweat, and tears you want to put into something. I mean, you know, you can pick up something like Buster that's, you know, reasonably cheap, reasonably good miles. And usually the good thing about picking up something like Buster here is it's usually fleet maintained. So all of its services have been done, and they usually keep a detailed log of all the services that are done, especially in a shuttle bus kind of deal with any kind of commercial vehicle. They have inspection sheets and they have inspection reports that go along and a lot of times you can ask the company, if you're buying it from the company who's actually selling the bus or selling the commercial vehicle, you can actually ask them for their service records, and that's stuff that they actually keep on file. So you can actually get to know the history of buying something like this, and then you're not out as much as you would be buying an actual traditional motorhome to pull behind, travel trailer, you know, or a fifth wheel, or whatever. So yeah, that definitely is something that, you know, if you're not opposed to putting a little bit of work in and living differently, which if you're considering going full-time RVing, you're considering living differently anyway. So, you know, why not check into a van? There's van life out there too, and you can get into stuff like this a lot cheaper. So yeah, keep that stuff in mind. But yeah, if you wanted to go with something like the size of Buster, I mean, being a commercial vehicle, like I said, you can definitely check and learn a lot through the service history of that vehicle. But you always want to buy in my personal opinion, this is my personal opinion, guys, if you're going to buy a commercial bus or something like that, you should probably buy it from the company who's retiring this piece of equipment. That way you can get the service records. Sometimes it just depends on the person or private party you're buying it on. I mean, you can kind of feel whether or not they actually know what they're talking about, if they have any common sense. And it really boils down to common sense. If you don't feel right about the vehicle, don't buy it. But yeah, look into that kind of thing instead of going out and going deep pockets on a motorhome. I guess what I was trying to say, because a lot of people were asking about about buying a motorhome. Motorhomes are not cheap, and beware of the ones that are super cheap, because they usually got a lot of big problems. That's going to be a lot more money. You should have just went and spent maybe a little bit more and got something a little bit better, or looked a little further down the road. You could have probably found something that was just in as good a shape for around that price. Never jump on the first RV you see. That's I guess key to what I really should say there. We've just been super busy trying to get all this stuff down, because it's coming down to the wire for us to be hitting the road. So we're definitely working double time trying to get this stuff done and getting ourselves ready to go. But definitely we appreciate everyone liking, following, subscribing, sharing with your friends. We greatly appreciate it, and that you guys take time out of your busy schedules to watch the idiocracy that here that's called Rolling with the Bolins and listening to my rambles. Definitely greatly appreciate that. And with that being said, I'm going to go ahead and close this little vlog here and say thanks for watching. Come back and see us again. Don't forget to come check us out, rollingwithbolins.com, and over on Instagram and Facebook. Alright guys, don't forget to live your adventure. This is Tony saying see you next time.